Hi, I'm Christine Marlowe, and I'm honored to be the President and CEO of Montgomery County Food Bank.
And I'm Curtis Null, the Superintendent of the Conroe Independent School District.
And I'm so excited to have you as part of our Board of Directors, Dr. Null, and just for the wonderful things that you do for our community.
Well, I appreciate any opportunity I have to give back to the food bank and to be in this wonderful space that makes such a difference in our community. You know, I'm a 23-year plus resident of Montgomery County, and started my teaching career right here in Conroe ISD. And so I've been here and watched our community grow for years and years. And as a teacher, it was really my first introduction into the food bank, to see children that I worked with on a daily basis that needed to have help, and the food bank was there and present to help them. And as I've worked through my career, becoming a principal at some of our most high need schools that the food bank really became engaged in, seeing the difference that it makes in the life of children, and then now to have this opportunity as the superintendent of the whole school district, and then to serve with you on this board of so many wonderful people giving back. It's really an amazing opportunity.
I agree with you. Before I came to the food bank, I didn't realize the impact of hunger in the schools and what that does. You know, I've been so blessed bringing up my kids. All of my kids went through CISD. I've raised 4 children, and you know, we've been just blessed to just be the beneficiaries of such a great school district. But I didn't realize, because my kids had food and we were able to do that. But you see that day in and day out, what that does.
And you're not unique in that to not see it. I think we are fortunate in this community that we have so much, and yet there are so many amongst us that have needs, and those needs can come and go at any given time. I mean, I think most families are one illness or one missed paycheck away from being in a position. And what most don't know is that over 40% of our children in Conroe ISD are on free or reduced lunch.
That's
over 30,000 children just in Conroe ISD that have some type of need, and they may not be fully food insecure in their family, but one little hiccup in their family life can certainly put them in a very difficult spot. And as educators, there's one thing that we know for sure. Kids that have all their needs met at home come to school every day to learn. But kids that don't have those needs met at home, and hunger is the most basic need, they come to school to have their needs met first. And if we can meet their needs, then we can teach them. So having the community to be able to step up and meet that hunger need for kids is what gives them an opportunity to be learners and gives them a chance to have a future.
That's incredible. And what I love about working with you and the entire CISD team and just all of the districts in Montgomery County is the compassion, because that's always at the heart. Every time you speak, Dr. Null, you talk about the kids and the impact, and you know, the teachers and the staff, and you know, it really brings to mind for me, like, how can we help? And here's a perfect way to do that, because food is such a tangible, can be easily obtained given the right channels way. It's just these incredible partnerships of you and the schools helping to get this food to the students who need it.
Yeah, we have a network of in this community that's amazing. There are so many people that want to help, right? And that's we're fortunate in Montgomery County to have that. But everybody doesn't know how to help on any given day. But the food bank is a wonderful opportunity and a place that everyone can help. By giving money or giving food that allows us to do the work in the schools. And what is that work in the schools? What does it look like? Well, we have the Buddy Backpack program, which is one of my very favorite programs that we have. And that is for families that maybe won't have enough food to feed their family over the weekend. And we very discreetly fill up a backpack for them every Friday, and they take a backpack full of food home so that their family can eat over the weekend. And that's a big endeavor, because the food has to get here into this room, it has to get sorted, and then it has to make its way to our schools, and then our staff has to distribute it, once again discreetly, so that we honor everybody. And they take that home, and then next weekend we do it again.
And it's such a great way to highlight the partnership,
right?
Because we can't do it all.
No.
You know, here at the food bank, our limited amount of employees and even the volunteers, but to have that partnership with your leadership and your administrative staff and your teachers and everybody who identify those children, who help when we deliver it to the schools, actually get it into the hands of the kids that need it. It takes a village for everything that we do.
Absolutely. And I talk about the food bank. The food bank is life-changing when it engages with families, but I go beyond that. I think there are a lot of times that the food bank is life-saving.
Oh, wow.
When you think about hunger and you think about the stress as a parent, both parents,
yes.
to not know if you can feed your family over the weekend, but to know that on Friday the child's going to come home and we're going to be able to feed our family, it not only takes away that as a worry,
right.
but it also allows them to be parents,
yeah.
right? To engage, and maybe that means one less shift of double overtime, and to be a mom and to be a dad, and that's what kids need. And if we as a community can give them that,
right.
what a blessing that is to our children. And so that's a wonderful program. And then beyond just the Backpack Buddy program, we have the food pantries on our campuses as well that aren't just focused on Fridays and these identified kids with backpack programs, but places where kids can go and kind of shop,
yes.
right,
yes.
for food. And it's amazing. It's
mm-hmm.
amazing. And they learn to make good choices. They
right.
learn to make the right choices. And it also gives kids ownership, right? Because they now feel like I am contributing to my family situation, and there's a lot of pride that comes in that for our children. And so both of those programs are really amazing for those that are in need to receive. But I think what we can't miss about this opportunity with the food bank particularly is we can focus on those that are receiving, right? And I think it's important that we express to children that when you are in need, it's okay to say that
yes.
you are in need.
Exactly.
And know that we have a community here that's going to love you and support you. But at the same time, when you are in a position that you can give,
right.
you should give.
Right.
And I think what I've noticed is the most generous hearts of those that give are those that have at one point needed to receive. But I'm about kids, and we're about lessons that we teach our children. So we want to teach them it's okay to ask for help, but we also want to teach children to have this servant heart of how do we give back to the community, and how do we learn this volunteer spirit. And the food bank provides a perfect opportunity for that, because most people can collect change. Even if it may not be a huge amount of money, but every penny that comes into this food bank, the food bank turns pennies into dollars. It's amazing. So when we do change drives
right.
for the food bank,
very impactful.
It's amazing to see that sometimes it's our more highly economically disadvantaged areas that actually collect the most money, because they truly understand that impact of what it produces. But the food bank gives this opportunity not only to give money, and that's important when we can, that we can give of our resources and our own treasure, but our own time sometimes is the most important thing. And there are so many volunteer opportunities with the food bank. What a great way that you can come out and bring your own children and volunteer here in the food bank and show them what it means to give back, and probably teach them about needs in the community that, depending upon where they live in Montgomery County, they may not see it every day. They may not know.
I agree with you 100%. And I love that you bring that up about giving back as well. I get out and talk to groups quite often, and I find that there's so many people who never had an opportunity or took the opportunity to volunteer until they were an adult.
Yes.
And maybe they were in some kind of club in college that required them to put in volunteer hours. And when you can instill that when they're young and they're impressionable and they see that they can make a difference, then, what a way to bring them up as adults who have that servant-minded hearts. And it's so great you say that, because here at the food bank, kids can volunteer as young as age 7 with a parent. And it is a great place to bring kids to learn, for them to understand what food insecurity looks like in the community. And most likely, they have kids in their classroom. If they're not food insecure, they've got kids in the classroom that are.
Indeed.
They may not even know.
And they probably don't know.
They probably don't know.
And to understand that those needs, sometimes people roll into that need and then they roll out. Like I said, it could be somebody is out of work for a moment, or somebody's gotten sick and unable to work. and it creates this need
Exactly.
that 3 months from now may no longer exist, but in this moment you can make a difference. And it's great to hear you talk about the fact that 7-year-olds and up can come here. And parents, I'm going to plead to parents here for a second.
Okay.
It's always a challenge to try to think like, what can we do for a birthday party, right? What can we do for the end of the year party for a sports team? What better way than to come to a place like this and have that experience here for those kids that probably have every present that they could ever want, or we want to celebrate the end of a athletic team year, to come volunteer here and to bring, not only volunteer their time, but instead of gifts, to bring money and donate here to this food bank. That's life-changing.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about the party that the children will remember for the rest of their life?
Yeah.
That's the party, right? That's the one.
That's
and so
the one.
I encourage you parents, think about things like that, these opportunities to come here.
I love it.
Make a difference. We don't know when we may be the ones that need to receive.
Exactly.
And if we are in that position, we know that we live in a place that will wrap their arms around us. And at the same time, when we can give, we should.
We should. And that is such a great spirit that you bring to the board of directors. You know, for those of you who've never worked around a nonprofit, we rely heavily on our directors on the board who can support my work, my team's work, help us be good stewards of all the resources that come in. And it's because of Dr. Null and other members of the board that provide that support to our team. We can do those great things in the schools. We can impact the pantries in the area. We can find new and innovative ways to serve. And we've got to continually adjust because the climate is adjusting. Yeah. It's never the same.
No.
Never the same.
No, and we're fortunate in Conroe ISD to be able to be a great partner with the food bank.
Absolutely.
Not only on the distribution of foods through our pantries and Backpack Buddy programs, but in small scale collection that we do.
Well,
but then we
have
these grand
yes, you do.
distributions and collections as well. You think back to hurricane situations where we utilize these facilities that our community owns, right? They're not school district facilities, they're community facilities. Woodforest Bank Stadium or big stadium parking lots where we can have large collections and also large distributions, and we're able to do that in partnership together. And it makes a difference, and when we do that, it's not about just Conroe ISD. We want our reach to be larger than that, right? So when we do these distributions, and it's often open to everyone in the county, and we're proud that we can serve in that way.
That's amazing. It's such an honor to serve with you. I love hearing about just some of the amazing impacts of individual students. And I have one story that I wanted to share with you. I was at a mobile distribution at one of the schools. So we do these mobile distributions at Title I schools where the principals get the word out to the families that might need extra food assistance. And it was in the springtime, and we had these beautiful strawberries. It was strawberry season, and they were big and plump and juicy, in these beautiful containers. And as we were driving through, the children's eyes got so big and they were so surprised. Mom, look, we got strawberries. And they couldn't believe their eyes. Yeah. That they were asking for food assistance. They probably didn't get this on a regular basis. And we could give them something that brought joy.
Yes.
That was so impactful for me.
And the quality of, like you said, be it fresh fruit, and sometimes it's little things. Like I can remember being at one of our mobile distributions, and it happened to be one of our partners, grocery store partners, had sent a few cakes.
Yes.
And flowers.
Oh.
And you won't, maybe that's not necessarily the nutritious need that family needed at the moment, but sometimes it's not just about that. It's reminding people that they're loved and cared for. And so to come through and to give those flowers, or when those kids would see perhaps a cake that would come back, it's love. It changes the world, right? It just changes the whole way you feel about things. And we have to meet the physical needs. That's the most important piece of hunger. You have to do that. But it's feeling loved, knowing that people care for you, knowing that people want to help you to get through what you're going through, and that in the end your kids are going to be able to be successful and learn and grow. That's what we all want as parents. And
100%.
The world is hard, and sometimes parents are in hard situations, but when we as a community can wrap our arms around them, we can make a difference.
Dr. Null, thanks so much for spending your time with me here today. I loved hearing those stories. Every time I work with you, I get inspired. I know how much that you and your whole team just love our community and the staff. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how our community can help?
Well, we live in a special place,
yes,
as we know,
and
everybody
do.
wants to help, but how do you help? Well, the number one way you can help is the donation of funds. You know, we think about food drives often, and it's about donating food, and we go and these non-perishable items, but you all do a magnificent job of turning dollars into more food than we can turn our dollars into food at a grocery store. So I think the donation of money is really powerful.
It's important.
And then volunteering is big. We talked
right.
about all of the opportunities that are here, so many ways that you can get involved in helping to sort food here, or maybe in the distribution of food. And then the third big piece is just being aware of this situation.
Yes.
It's opening our eyes and opening our hearts and really just wrapping our whole selves around this situation, knowing that even in this beautiful place in
right.
which we live, where we have so much, there are people in need. And sometimes in a place like this, it makes it even harder to ask because you could feel alone. But
yes.
the bottom line is they're not alone. We have more people here that need help than we could ever imagine, but we are in a place that can make a huge difference. So the more of your treasure and your time that you can give, and just opening your heart really to embrace those that are in need and make a difference, that's what the Montgomery County Food Bank is all about. And we thank you for your leadership and all the difference that is made in this building every day.
Thank you. It's our pleasure for sure. It's an honor to do this work, to partner with you, to partner with this incredible community, because together we are truly stronger in the fight against hunger.